It's the grand final, everybody! The rematch! Germany against France. A best-of-7 series between the two teams, and this will decide who is the champions of the Nations Cup 2026. $10,000 in total on the line, as now two of the titans in this tournament are clashing once again. And they had a wild journey. I mean, an absolutely wild journey. This all started essentially with them facing in the round-robin phase and Germany taking down the French team without them dropping even a single map. It was a clean 2-0 victory for the Germans, and they looked fantastic there. Germany established themselves quickly as the #1 spot in the standings in the round-robin and entered the playoffs with that seeding. The French, on the other hand, kind of lowballing their round-robin performance a little bit, coming in barely qualifying for the playoffs, and then going on a massive murder streak in the winner bracket where they just absolutely obliterated everybody in their path. And they went up against the Germans in the best-of-5, and Germany didn't stand a chance. Lost 3 maps in a row, dropped down into the losers bracket, and had to fight their way back into the grand final now, where they have once again a shot. So, just to also reiterate this real quickly, the winner bracket team, the French team, they don't get a 1-0 advantage. We generally don't do this in the tournaments that we host. Doesn't really sit right with me, so we're not doing this. But in this case, for example, the French have, of course, a couple of advantages coming from the winner bracket. First of all, in game #1, they have the first pick and first ban, and they also have the map choice. So they went for Haunted Mines there. And another advantage is that you don't have to play previous games. Germany is just now coming from a best-of-5 series that they played against the Netherlands. So they are obviously a little bit more tired here, had to already invest a lot of time into all of this. And that's something where the French could just sit back, watch the games, analyze the strategies a little bit, and just think about, okay, how are we going to approach all of this? We still have a draft rule in the game, meaning every single hero can only be played one time. We have 4 maps guaranteed in this series, no matter what happens. I'll assume that Germany is at least going to be able to win 1 map, and time will tell. But therefore, as we're progressing through the series, more and more heroes will be unavailable, and that will force teams to start thinking outside of the box a little bit. Additionally, this is all playing out on the new patch, obviously, so we've already seen the Germans use Arthas twice on Battlefield of Eternity, both times with a victory. He has, outside of that, not been played a whole lot, and Thrall has essentially disappeared is maybe a little bit too harsh, but given that before he was highly overpowered with Echo of Elements as his level 1 talent, now after the patch, he is basically banned out or taken on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and very rarely outside of that makes his presence known. We've seen him, I think, twice, and he, I believe, lost both of those. So Thrall is still getting picked, but does not have the priority from before any longer. Well, with that being said, so now as we're heading in, we have again Dequaza on Blaze. That Tyrael Blaze combo is obviously mega old school and one of the staples when we're talking about the meta for the last couple of years even. You have your bunker, you have your sanctification. If you want to be aggressive, you can even go judgment with this. But it's a nice layer of defense that you have there. With this being Haunted Mines, we have still Sylvanas available. Deathwing, obviously, another hero that was played a lot here, but we've seen some counter plays against him. Chromie plus Yrel for the German team, and we're getting Rhaegar and also Cassia right now. There could definitely be a little bit of a swapperoo on the damage to Cassia oftentimes with Valkyrie, so we'll see how exactly this is going to work out for them. And yeah, time will tell how exactly this is going to pan out there. But yeah, so with that said and done, by the way, apparently overlay did an update, so it is indeed Haunted Mines. My apologies if this was a bit confusing, but yeah, Haunted Mines indeed, and there's our Sylvanas, as I already pointed out. Great pick on this map as well. Now, final pick, we still need a frontliner for the German team over on the right side, so let's see what exactly they're now going to go for. Dark Wolf needs, I mean, they will definitely need a couple of CC here, something that they can use. We've seen a lot of Muradin being played by them as well. Obviously, both Garrosh and Johanna are now unavailable, but he could still go for the Dwarf and try to tee things up a little bit with a Stormbolt. Varian been played before by them with Taunt for similar purposes, and now we get a Nubarak, so still sticking to that dive and lockdown attempts that we had in previous matches. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand final is kicking off. We're going to Haunted Mines. It's a best-of-7 series, and we are seeing again Germany against France. First game in the best-of-7, and over on the left side we have the French team with Dequaza on Blaze. Yazu on Sylvanas, Tobos playing Liming for the blue team, Banana Age on Brightwing, and Masquerade on Tyrael. Over to the right side of the map, we get Hazorps on Urel for the Germans after their recent victory against the Netherlands. The Dark Wolf on Anubarak. Dino with Cassia going for Thunderstroke on level 1, so he's going to stack it up. They swapped heroes around as Ultralisk now finds himself on Chromie. And we get Death Knight on Rhaegar. As it seems like we're going to get some Sylvanas attack up at the top, potentially against the wall here. Obviously, this map was also slightly changed by Blizzard. It is now in the public rotation again. Which, honestly, I take partial credit for. We've been playing Haunted Mines now for around a year in the tournaments that I've been hosting. And it was always cool to see how many people responded positively to that. Players have been picking it more and more, and everybody loved it. And I fully believe that Blizzard at some point started watching the tournament again and was like, you know what, guys? How about instead of like getting anything like too crazy, we're just fixing Haunted Mines a little bit and bring it back into the rotation. So very happy that they made that decision. There were some changes with it that we're going to talk about later. For now, it's a big fight down at the bottom of the map. It's Satima trying to take the lead here. Insta aggression from the French. Germany wants the camp, they want the kill, but it seems like the blue team is going to push them off, and Germany retreats. Germany falls back slowly, and the French take the camp. Easy pick right there. They're able to lock that in. And also, decent stacks for Sylvanas as this all starts up. We have already a few stacks for Cassia, of course, as well. So both of the damage dealers are slowly starting to progress their quests here. And soon the mines are going to be announced. So, oh, close for the old man at the top. Urel was definitely in trouble here. So, as we're going for the first objective, it is again noteworthy that right now the objective is slightly changed in the sense that once you collect 55 skulls, the objective is over and is considered to be claimed. The reason for that is mainly that Blizzard beforehand was already in a point where if you collected 55 skulls on Haunted Mines, any skull after that you collected did not actually increase the power of your own golem. It didn't do anything. So 55 was the maximum for the strength of your own objective, but the rest of the skulls was basically just determining how strong your opponent's golem would be. So if you collected up to 100 and your opponent had 0, that just meant they had a 0% golem. If they, on the other hand, were still able to pick some up, you were still at a 55 max power, and they would then have however many they collected. So right now, this is what changes things a little bit on the map. When the 55 are collected and the team has the maximum strength of their own objective, that immediately ends it. And therefore you're obviously incentivized to quickly get to that, and that just simply let some skulls lie around in the mines. Your opponent is going to try to get to that too. So at 55 it will stop, just in case that some people will be confused when it happens. Banana Age on Brightwing, definitely not confused, able to move out of the fight just in the nick of time to make it back to safety. Germany obviously mega eager right now to turn this around. And it was insane to just see how the dynamic between the two teams evolved over the course of the tournament. The French barely made it into the playoffs in the first place, but it was always that feeling that they either were lowballing things a little bit and was just sandbagging hard, or that they were just still not really finding their rhythm. A lot of the players obviously coming back for the tournament and therefore needing a bit more practice. The tournament has been now going on for more than 2 months, nearly 3. So lots and lots of time with all of the scrims and practices that the guys got in to really develop that synergy again and just get back into the game. And you can really see the fruits of all that work on the side of the blue team. They're totally in sync with their plays, and they're doing an excellent job. Germany's going to have a tough time to take them down again, but they're certainly going to try. And keep in mind, they won with a 2-0 in the round-robin phase. Here comes the kill on Brightwing. That's first blood in the game after 4 minutes. Germany is low on multiple heroes, but they're still thinking about trying to go for a follow-up kill. Tobos moves back out. Ultralisk still dishing out the damage, but they're trapping Nequaza in a corner. And there's the double kill. Nicely done. Fantastic. Germany also a little bit behind on the objective, so with them now having full control over the mines, they should be able to win the golem, and then it's going to be a 55 to 40% objective that we're going to get here. which could allow Germany to push. But let's not forget that the blue team is running Sylvanas in their lineup. So if they decide to push with their golem, Sylvanas is going to empower that push pretty significantly and would potentially allow them to get a lot more damage done. So level 7 kicks in for the red team just a little bit sooner. We have 24 stacks now for Cassia. Sylvanas, by the way, did a fantastic job there in the mines. 120 stacks for her already. So, yeah, she is really stacking that baseline up quickly. Good for her. With the pumpkins taken out, Germany is now starting to push, but as expected, Sylvanas is at the top, is forcing Urel back, and she's going to try to get damage in. That wall is already destroyed. Same true at the bottom of the map. And off we go. How much can the red team do here? And what is Sylvanas going to be able to pull off up at the top lane? Because she might be able to get more damage in than the entire German team down at the bot lane. Big damage still coming out though. Good stacks also for Cassia. Fantastic opportunities here for Dino as he's getting hit after hit out. They want that fort and they are going to get that fort. Germany takes out the first structure in the game, but at the top lane, we are seeing the exact same emerge. Sylvanas a bit too powerful, and she moved now down to the bottom of the map to help the team out. So the French with a 5 versus 4 advantage that they tried to use to get themselves a kill, which didn't quite work out, but again, as I said, on the objective, not too bad. You could actually argue that they are getting more out of their golem because they're still getting damage on one of the towers at the keep wall. And now the attack continues straight down at the bottom of the match. So, yeah, there's the next big hit coming. But, boy, this is already a spicy opening into the game. And keep in mind, we have a best of 7 on our hands. Lots and lots of games coming. So, Dino is now moving in, gets a poly to the face right away. Urel sitting topside to get the extra experience for the German team. Stun against the Nubara, careful. Dino chased, slowed, they want him. But Rhaegar with the heals is keeping Cassia alive. Still turning around against Maska. A beautiful stun. And then Chromie comes in with a hit as Urel says hello too. They're trying to go for the kill, but the stun just barely misses. Or Sylvanas would have been in a world of pain here. Now, we nearly got level 10 for the red team. The Germans now ahead by a little bit more than half a level. And that's mainly because of all the presence that we had at the top lane for Urel. So that helped them for sure. Down at the bottom of the map, still the position for the red team as they're now going for the next set of pumpkins. We have the level 10 abilities kicking in, so that gives us Cocoon, which could allow them to also force a fight here. Oh, yeah. They got some vision, and Nubarak was certainly threatening that Cocoon. They are going straight in to steal the siege giants away, so a bit unfortunate for the French. They were doing most of the work on that camp, and then it gets taken away from them. 39 stacks, as I said, for Cassia. It's a pretty decent amount, 8 minutes into the game, so roughly where you want to be at that point in time. As pumpkins are connecting, and that's another wall partly destroyed, as finally heroics are available to the French. And look at that play. We get mind control for Sylvanas, and more importantly, to tee that up, judgment from Tyrael. They're going to get aggressive here. They're going to try to get that combo off. Judgment is already in. And here comes the play for the Dark Wolf. They're trying to get the kill, but Anubarak survives with Germany moving in through the mines. Once again, the skeletons are all up, but the fight at the top is still raging on. The Cocoon dropped on Sylvanas. They're trying to get the kill here. Germany with a play for Yasu, who jumps out. Masquerade covering the retreat as France retreats slowly and steadily. Some extra poke from Chromie as Germany is jumping down into the mines and starts to establish an advantage. The French moving over towards the left and entering the mines as well in their quest to try and take some skulls for the team now. 45 stacks for Cassia, 204 for Sylvanas. On the damage side, similar numbers for the two top damage dealers. 20,000 for the blue team, 23,000 for Cassia on the side of the Germans. And the red team is now heavily pulling ahead on skulls as expected. Getting the set down at the bottom is putting them to 44. So it's all about the big golem right now. And it seems like both are kind of willing to fight for this at least a little bit. Germany doesn't need too much, so if they just get themselves 11 of those skulls, that would already be a win, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. But the French are ready. Brightwing is coming down into the mines as well. 47 skulls right now to 34. France again trying to steal as much as they can here. Germany pushing in. They need one more. Judgment is already out as Masquerade is jumping in. They're trying to get it here with the bunker already on the ground for the French team. They're slowly starting to retreat. Germany able to get the advantage. In comes the ult from Cassia. Cocoon on Blaze as they go for Masquerade. They try to get the kill. Germany aggressive right now, hoping to get that kill just before the objective is on the map with the stun against the Quasar. It looks like they can, and there it is. Blaze is down. The jump into the backline. Masquerade already low, and he is about to fall. Tyrael is down, and the rest of the blue team is on the run as Urel comes in and puts them into a corner. They're still trying to escape here as the golems are slowly spawning, and Germany has to let go for now. But they got 2 kills in the mines, and now the big golem at the top, of course, pushing for the red team. Big plays being made right now from the Germans as they are pulling ahead in experience, and the French are still waiting for kill number 1. They haven't been able to get a kill yet, but they are defending at the top with another mind control just barely missing, and obviously with a 5-man completely throwing everything that they have against the golem, Germany is not going to be able to get too much. They won't be able to get the 4 tier. Banana H gets rooted. Chromie is defending down at the bottom of the map. And yeah, the French got some decent value out of this, I gotta say. So structurally, they're slightly ahead. We have the level 13 advantage, of course, now for the Germans. It's not a big gap that they're running here, but again, an advantage nonetheless. And in the meantime, we're now having over on the left side. Yeah, Turbos, they're going for the next camp. Over to the top right, another wave that has to be defeated, especially the pumpkins, before they connect with the wall here. And the blue team moving down to the bottom right now, trying to do the same thing. Pick up as much of the XP as they can, equalize the talents, which they've now done. 13 versus 13. And of course, still a couple of Siege Giants to take out too. The goal always the same. Get Sylvanas onto a lane, try and get some damage in, try to make a move for one of the structures, and you can already see the ping happen here. As we have Turbos aiming from the side, combo after combo onto the structure. Urel is sitting at the top and tries to extend the lead. But in experience, I gotta say, if you're looking at the advantages that we're seeing for the Germans, they had 2,500 experience points ahead just through hero kills alone. French are making up for a lot of it, just in general here, also with the minion experience that they've been able to get for themselves. But Germany wants to pull a bit farther ahead right now. So in this case, we have, again, everything just centered around these mind control attempts from Sylvanas. And of course a judgment that could potentially set it up as well. Urel all the way at the top, still holding on to all of this as best as possible for her. But, well, in the meantime, we're having the Quasar also clearing the waves again as the next set spawns. Sylvanas with more damage, more stacks. Hoping, of course, for the damage increase, and then later on for the sustainability she's going to get through their mythic reward. Cassia, 57 stacks for her now. Dino didn't really have that many opportunities anymore to stack. There were a couple of fights where he certainly got the numbers up, but not really at a point where it's totally crazy. 63 is a solid number, don't get me wrong, but we've seen Dino with some absurd stacks in the past, sitting way past 100. Nice Ancestral to keep the Dark Wolf alive. Bunker on the ground once again. Here comes the jump straight onto the top. Quasar missing the jet propulsion. Cocoon is out. They're turning on Blaze once again, but it's Masquerade that might fall first, and he goes down. Cocooned initially and then eliminated by Germany just as those skulls are up in the mines again. So now another chance to get the lead. And they have established a pretty significant experience advantage now. So we are talking level 16 talent, while the French are just about to hit level 15. Yasuo is defending at the bottom of the map as best as he can, but with Germany just controlling all of the smaller camps here, it certainly seems that the blue team is not going to get a single skull, whereas Germany is aiming for the 55, and therefore for the strongest golem that they could get in these circumstances. So, very nicely done. This could be a tough one for the French to stop. And as I said before, keep in mind, these guys faced off against each other in the winner bracket, and back then, France took it with a 3-0. Did not lose a single map. So if Germany is able to open this best of 7 up with a victory, that would already be a very, very important step into the right direction for them. Epic enter for Nuburak on level 16. So he's going to epically enter the opponent's backline to try and stun them out and make sure that he tees things up for Chromie on her burst damage. The French just aiming to get some experience so that they have a level 16 talents for their defense. That golem is still, even with 0 skulls, well, with 0 skulls not that much, but you should never underestimate them, because if your keep is exposed, it will still dish out damage. This bad boy at the bottom of the map, that's a very different story though. This one is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. 15 minutes into the game, there's a chance to go for the keep. The Germans need to be careful though, they have only 4 heroes on the bot lane, so it's a 4v5, as the French are defending. Again, the slows, Chromie with slowing sands obviously, quickly positioned. 16 talents are ready. Mind control attempted once again. They keep down to 30% of its HP. Dino dishing out one damage point after another with Chromie hitting from a distance. Cocoon on Blaze, and the keep is finally gone. With Urel also chipping in a bit towards the end of the fight. Not a single kill for the French. They haven't been able to pick a single kill up yet. 5 kills to 0 from the German perspective. And Dino now on 75 stacks as they're going for the next camp. You can tell that the French are trying to be aggressive now. They have level 16 talents, they're still trailing by an entire level. They know that if they are continuing to play it at this pace, it's going to become problematic for them. They are now behind in structures, passive experience is not in their favor either, so they need to do something. Pushing for the fort at the bottom of the map could help them here. Getting kills as well. They need to do something before Germany gets close to level 20. And of course, another objective could also eliminate a lot of the top lane too. So the French definitely posturing very differently now on the map, now that they're on the same talent tier as their opponents. Nuburak's to be careful too. Engage with judgment is always possible, as we are seeing mines just used for a second, as we're seeing 45,000 damage for Cassia and 35,000 for Sylvanas. Upgrade already for Chromie, and it could be a kill. Urel with the ult, but what about Equaza? Here trying to heal him, gets the shield out too. Choke point used against the blue team. Big damage coming in, and now the play with Judgment. Ancestral keeping Dino alive as Turbos drops low. Gets away though. Hazu gets Polid, is in trouble. There's the combo. Goes down into the mines and gets murdered by the French. Hazu Ops killed the first kill for the blue team. They go for the old man and they take him down. 7 seconds until the skulls appear, until the skeletons spawn, and the French are immediately on it. Trying to go for the big golem. Keep in mind, they got Sylvanas. They have the push power. If they get an objective and they deny skulls to their German counterparts, they can use Sylvanas to absolutely wreak havoc on structures. And that is exactly what they're going for. Already working on the last few remaining camps here. 1 kill, 2-5. Germany is still ahead in experience, but this could be where it gets difficult. Right now, 330 stacks for Sylvanas, getting closer and closer to her mythic reward. Couple of siege giants about to be picked up again for this fight, and then of course it's all going to be about what can we do with Sylvanas. At least that's what you would expect. Germany is going to try and push at the top lane, but we are having French golem push through the bottom of the map. So I would certainly expect them to rotate down there, and that's exactly what they're now doing. They need to murder this. They need to do damage here. The fort will fall. The question is just simply, what else can they do? Can they, for example, go and take the keep out? So they are going to attempt to just maximize the damage with the help of Sylvanas here, while we're still getting Liming, look for combos and for kills. Fort is gone. Germany is slowly retreating. Tactical retreat by them. Poking with Chromie as best as they can just to get some initial shots fired. But here's where the real action now happens. Wall basically destroyed the seconds. Mind control connects straight into the jet propulsion. And the Ancestral absolutely on point. Rhaegar, you monster. Death Knight able to keep him alive as Judgment connects half a second later. What a beautiful Ancestral timing here. A great play from the French as they connect the mind control. But look at that timing from Death Knight. Here comes the play, and then instantly the heal just before Anub'arak gets popped, and that saves them. The keep at the bottom of the map, and maybe even the game. There was certainly potential for the French to build momentum there. They've done it before. In these playoffs, you give them one kill in a situation like this, they're going to chase you down 6 days to Sunday and make sure that you bleed all the way. Drop you and then go for the core. Level 20 now for Germany. So they have the advantage for a little bit longer while they can dominate the map and get those camps. Seraphim for Urel. Rewind for Anub'arak. Chromie already upgraded earlier. And yeah, the red team obviously now trying to push for the topside fort. The Baguettes playing it slow. They need to buy time. They need to get experience. They want to get to level 20. They're going to be willing to let this one go. They are willing to let this one slide. They're going to try and poke this out from a distance as best as they can. I do not see them fully engage into a battle here. And Germany obviously doesn't want to fight underneath the fort directly. But here comes the mind control again! And this time there was no cooldown ready. Instantly the Judgment. Beautiful combo from the French. And now, as explained earlier, they're looking for more kills. But this is working so well for them. I mean, again, this is the play that failed before, and this time Rhaegar was on cooldown on his Ancestral, so it's an insta-kill against the frontline tank. Well done. 7 seconds were left on the timer, or he would have been able to potentially save the frontline. 106 stacks now for Cassia, so big numbers for her too. French takes some control, as we're gonna have the mines open up again. Anub'arak will be back in time, just barely to make it down there. But we certainly have a spicy start into the series on our hands here. I mean, it is getting crazy. Top side, Hazobs trying to defend against the pumpkins. Needs a little bit of time there. French are already down in the mines and are starting to steal some of the camps away that are more leaning towards the right side of the map, but you would expect the Germans to move in. So Germany is now falling back down to the bottom camps and trying to claim those quickly. But you can see on the counter that the blue team has already pulled ahead heavily. Yasu with the damage. 370 stacks for him now. Nearly done with his mythic reward. And it's going to come down to the big golem here. More skulls taken by Germany. Good for them. 40 for the French team. And 32 for the Germans as they are moving straight into the middle. Baiting the golem over a little bit to give them the better position, and they're going to be able to lock that in. So the French, they're not contesting it. They're not going to do anything over here. So Germany walks away with the bigger golem, with the bigger objective. Not that it necessarily means anything, because again, there is the Sylvanas factor. If Yasu pushes with a golem, then those 40 skulls, that is still very, very powerful. And that's something that the red team is aware of as well, of course. So depending on how the map now shapes up, they still might be forced to defend instead of attack. 66,000 damage for Cassia. And we got 54,000 damage for Sylvanas. Anub'arak trying to establish control again in the middle. It's all about vision at this point, and to be fair to the blue team, while Germany was going for the golem in the lower levels, what we saw from the French was trying to push these lanes out and get to a good position there. And it seems like we're going to get defense for both of them. Problem for the French is that this one is of course moving straight in for the core, so you had to do something about it. And the Germans at the top, they should be able to save their keep as well. I gotta say though, that thing is still gonna do some damage. That bad boy hits hard. Rhaegar doesn't care, by the way. Rhaegar's just sitting there like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get stunned. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm okay. So, both of the golems defeated, as we're now 24 minutes into game number 1 of the series. And it's the next pumpkin camp that they are all fighting for. So right now, the attack coming in at the topside camp with mind control, stun, and the ult barely used. Rhaegar gets attacked too. Could have gone for an Ancestral, I suppose, but France walks away with the camp. They might not have gotten the kill that they were looking for, but they got the camp, and also they are now dropping the ult on Sylvanas like it's candy. Dark Lady's Call. That cooldown reduction is just bonkers. This is a basic ability at this point. And Sylvanas is taking full advantage of it. I mean, he's dropping those no matter what. Every single time he sees a hero on the other side, he just drops it. He doesn't care about the cooldown whatsoever. And if it connects, then all that they have to do is get it close to Blaze, and Quasar is going to get the jet propulsion, is going to get the stun, and then it's up to Rhaegar. And it's up to Rhaegar to respond and do something about it. And let's not forget that we also have Judgment here. Judgment has been upgraded. So those level 20 talents with the cooldown advantages that the blue team now has are pretty crazy. Germany is pinned down in their base. Germany is essentially pinned down. And of course, I mean, right now they also know it. So this is going to make things a little bit difficult. Vision is low. Stun from Anubarak there. It's always the Watchtower fight that we're talking about here. So once again, the next attack. Repulsion already being used by Li Ming as they're starting to chase. And the undead are spawning again. So we're going to get another fight in the mines. And this might be the last one. 26 minutes into the game. Things are starting to hit a lot harder over here. So you got to be super careful now how you play this out. You can't afford to let your opponent get another big golem. They are going to do way too much damage. Germany has the advantage that at the bottom of the map there's no keep anymore for the French, so the catapults will eventually end up at the core. But both of them are just now diving around and trying to get additional skulls. It's going to take a while for those catapults to make it all the way to the core. A third one is coming up soon, but still, Germany will have to buy time if they really want this to do work. Mind control again, out, misses. Good for Germany. And I think the French will very quickly then retreat from the mines and defend the bot lane again. If they are really willing to fight this out on the big boss, then that would be a bit of a gamble on their end. That third catapult is now coming, and that lane is pushing out fairly quickly now with 3 catapults behind it. There's the mind control, jet propulsion, great combo again, but the heal is there, and it's Li Ming that dies. Li Ming goes down. Tyrael falls as well. That's a double kill in favor of Germany. Catapults on their way to the core. The third kill, Sylvanas falls, and Germany can go straight for it. This is the opportunity right here after the team fight. They were just able to take 3 heroes down on the French side, and Germany on their way towards the core. Brightwing gets eliminated too. We have catapults pushing in, and it is the red team that claims victory in game number 1. They take the lead in the best of 7 series against the French here in the grand final of the Nations Cup. Nicely done, Germany with the advantage. GG and well played. I hope all of you are enjoying the Nations Cup, especially now that we're going into the top games here just after the group stage. Guys, a quick reminder, we're keeping Heroes Esports alive. We've done so for the last 7 years, ever since Blizzard abandoned HGC in the esports scene. But in order to do that, we're also dependent on support and on campaigns like the one we're currently running with Opera GX. And this is one of the easiest campaigns ever, and it is completely free. So if you enjoy the coverage here, if you would like us to host more events like the one you're currently watching, or Meta Madness and the Banshee Cup, all the other tournaments that we've been hosting, then please check the description of the video. All that you gotta do is download Opera GX, which is a browser, and simply watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos on the browser, maybe use it for some general browsing, and that would already help us. Don't like it? No problem, can uninstall it afterwards, but it really would go a long way to support us here on the channel and to help us create more events in the future. So take that 1-2 minutes that you need in order to do that and help us out. Thank you very, very much in advance, and a big shout out to all of you that already have done it. Enjoy the rest of the series. Well, the grand final continues. Germany with the lead, the victory on Haunted Mines, as we now have the French with first pick, first ban, ready for map number 2. Keep in mind the 10 heroes that were played on the previous one, they are now out, they can't be played again. So as we're progressing through the serials, less and less heroes will be available, so that's going to play a bit of a role. But yeah, awesome start into the series, honestly. Very, very enjoyable here. So at that point again, guys, thanks to all of the supporters for the stream of the last couple of months and years. As I said before, if you want to become a supporter, the best way to do that is to go to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the description of the video, but you can also become a YouTube member. For both, we have now exclusive content on the channel as well, and this is what really helps us to keep Heroes Esports alive. I've been saying this a couple of times already, but with Blizzard abandoning the esports scene, it would not have been possible to keep it alive and to host, I mean, at this point, hundreds of tournaments without you guys. So a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the stream, and a big shout out to everybody that is thinking about becoming a supporter. So check it out, help us to just plan more events in the future, to create more events like the Nations Cup, like the Banshee Cup, like all of the Meta Madness events that we had, and obviously also the amateur tournaments that we've been running over the last couple of years. It's essentially the one tournament aspect that we still have in the game, and without you guys, this wouldn't be a thing. So big shout out to all of the supporters and everybody that wants to check it out. Take a look at the links in the description, or go straight to patreon.com/Khaldor. And if you watch this on YouTube, give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. You know the drill. We are getting a Thrall pick, by the way, first on Infernal Shrines. I have to admit that I'm a little bit surprised by this. Not by the fact that we're seeing Thrall, I'm a bit surprised by the priority that he's given. Because after the new patch has hit, and we've now seen changes to Echo of Elements by Blizzard, Thrall has, for the playoff games, kind of disappeared. We've seen him twice, but it was late in the series where other side laners were already gone. And while he still can really pack a punch with Echo of Elements, his win rate has kind of plummeted as a result too. So I still believe that he can be very powerful and he can be a good side laner, but I would more so see him in game number 3, maybe game number 4. So it's a bit surprising to me that the French are actually picking him this early, and also on Infernal Shrines, whereas typically I would see most of the value for him on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, where it's much easier for you to rotate between the lanes and still try to get to a point where you can get good stacks. So the pick itself, not that shocking. More surprising that they are going in as a first pick on him. But okay, we're going to see how much he can actually do with this, if that is a justified pick or not. The Germans are coming in with the tanks again. Sergeant Hammer is taken for Infernal Shrines, and they have the Hark at the top lane now. False set banned, Jojo eliminated, the wave clear of Gul'dan also shut down quickly. And with now Muradin banned, the question of course, what is Masquerade going to play? Diablo is up, and it's another hero that he has been playing in the past, so that's a good one for them too. With Stukov, you have really nice control already over the entrances to the shrines. You can also follow up on a stun. If Varian, for example, gets chosen, that would work with Stukov as well. It's definitely a hero that Masquerade has played a lot. Are they really going to commit to this though? And that's the question. They got CC with Thrall, with Junkrat, Stukov. So there's already a whole lot of control that the team has on their side. But Germany has the 3-4 now. So we'll see what they're going to go with that. Well, they take Diablo away, and they have Anduin. That also helps you to, of course, keep Sergeant Hammer safe. Whenever she gets attacked, Anduin can still stay at a distance and then pull her out. So big battle there. Also smart of the Germans to take Sergeant Hammer early. Oftentimes she's already banned out on maps like Infernal Shrines in the 1-2 against them. If they let her slide and they don't pick her in the first double pick, then very likely it's going to be the third ban for the French, and yeah, they won't be able to play that strategy here. Tigers for Tobos. So we get the Odin transformation very likely. I doubt that they're following the example of the Netherlands and play a full-on auto attack style with Drill on level 10. And then we get Masquerade on Garrosh. Medivh as the final pick. Even more Sergeant Hammer protection, and Ultralisk back to his shenanigans. He already busted it out against the Netherlands in the losers bracket final. Now he plays it in the grand final. Ladies and gentlemen, the second map. We're going to Infernal Shrines, Germany, facing off against Team France. Map number 2, Team France. In blue on the left, Allez le Bleu with the Quasar on Thrall. We go Team Orc with Masquerade on Garrosh. Junkrat played by Yazu, Banana H on Stukov, and Tobos on Tychus. The newly changed Echo of Elements. The reward on level 2 now a bit weaker. You don't get the extra bounce, and the mythic reward obviously needs a bigger threshold as well. We have on the right side Harzobs on Dehaka, Ultralisk on Medivh, the Dark Wolf on Diablo, Dino with Sergeant Hammer, and then Death Knight on Anduin. Let's go. So, over on the right side, the Germans with the Panzer. And as we all know, things are always going well for the Germans when they have their tanks rolling. Okay. Maybe not always, but they're really, really good with that particular hero pick, as we all know. Now, the one thing that I definitely have to point out here is that we've seen already once the combo on this map where Germany went for Anduin and for Medivh. It wasn't with Sergeant Hammer at the time, but if I'm not mistaken, with Vala. The point, though, is that it's absolutely insane to see those two in combo. It's absolutely crazy, because you have the shields and the portals from Medivh, and then on top of that you have the pulls from Anduin. So if you actually do a good job on this and you layer them properly, it's insanely tricky for your opponent to get anything done and get a kill. So this must be super frustrating for the French team, or at least it will be at some point. I certainly know that it drove the team from the Netherlands to insanity. So we'll see how well they can coordinate this, but Death Knight and Ultralis did an insane job the last time that they played this one out. So we'll see. All the way up at the top, we got now Thrall sitting, 10 stacks already for him. And again, he's going to work that talent in over time. Dequaza obviously somebody that certainly has the mechanics to get the most out of this. So a really, really powerful side lane player. One of the best for sure. And we'll see what he can pull off here. It's just the Tong gets away quickly, and he will just continue to get his stacks. Just generally speaking, with the last patch, we don't have to get too many details, but Blizzard has tried to make it a bit more difficult for a lot of the stacking talents to be completed. Even with some of Falset's talents, for example, what they did was to just limit the time window slightly in which you can get credit for the kill to get stacks, and even that, while it might not always make a difference, can have an impact, because you now need to stay close to the lane, you can't do it from a distance anymore. So it makes it easier for opponents to gank you. So Falset is impacted by a lot of these things. Thrall, as we already talked about. I like the approach that we're getting from Blizzard just in general to tweak things slightly. They've done it now multiple times with mythic rewards. But I certainly hope that they're also going to do it on the other end of the spectrum. Because we talked in the recent match about Arthas a little bit. And Arthas is right now, through the baseline quest, essentially suggesting that you can get, with good mechanics and diligent clear on the lane, increase the attack damage to a degree where he becomes a really impactful bruiser. And it's not really happening. The numbers just don't add up. Even in a late game, we are not getting a lot of auto attack damage from Arthas to make it impactful enough. And I certainly hope that with a bit more data coming in, if that stays true, that Blizzard in a future patch then decides to increase that reward a little bit to make Arthas a little bit stronger on that and kind of make him into that bruiser that apparently they would like him to be. But yeah, time will tell. Certainly interesting changes through patches recently. In our game at hand, the French now on the objective. Dehaka coming in, looking for another lick. Thrall is still sitting at the top lane, by the way, trying to take advantage of the minions he can clear there. And down here, the engage from Diablo, and very quickly he gets thrown a little bit farther than he bargained for by Garrosh. Lifting from the knees like a champ. That's one guy that never skips leg day, for sure. And they are going to grab the first objective. Very nicely done, by the way, by the French. So they get the objective, and they have Thrall essentially on the side lane the entire time, on 30 stacks now. So very close to get his next reward as well. Gets a bit of an assist here from Junkrat too, and is then rotating back up towards the top since he has to start mirroring Dehaka. 9 stacks for Medivh. And Diablo. I like these portal attempts that we have there. Trying to make all of this happen outside the vision of the blue team so that they can attempt to flank in and get a hit there. But yeah, it's gonna get a little bit wild. Right now, for example, we have still at the top Thrall facing off against Dehaka. We haven't seen a single kill yet. We're nearly 5 minutes into the game. This is the grand final, and there is a lot of money on the line, so the teams are going to be very, very cautious, at least at the start here. We've seen plenty of fireworks in game number 1 already, and I'm 100% certain this is going to happen here too. But in the early game, nobody wants to make any massive mistakes and all of a sudden fall behind for no reason. But this could be one of the first big fights that we're now getting. They're trying to go for the bottom of the map, and Diablo gets attacked quickly. Bye-bye. Not completely taken out, but it's Tychus that falls. Tychus eliminated, and Junkrat also gone. Bye-bye for the French. They have 2 heroes that got quickly eliminated by the Germans. So, well done. But I think it's pretty clear that they are hoping to get the value through Thrall. Honestly, I mean, it is blatant what they're doing here. They're essentially just keeping Thrall on the side lane. The Quasar's gonna give them experience and is just trying to get as many stacks as he can. And the rest of the team is trying to buy time, trying to keep structures. And that's a little bit wild. I still think that Thrall with a completed quest is going to be absolutely crazy in damage. We've seen him complete the quest once, but the team lost shortly after in the next fight. But his damage just skyrocketed after completion. So this could be a very interesting game. Germany, I certainly think that they feel like they are on a timer right now. If they can, of course, get kills in against their Quasar, that would certainly help their efforts here. But he's now nearly halfway done with the quest at the 6-minute mark. And I'm pretty sure that the French are willing to fight for the late game. Oh, Diablo locked down. Nice. The Dark Wolf turns into the Dead Wolf and goes down here. Nicely done. Job well done by the Frenchies. That was their first kill, by the way. Diablo was fully stacked and is now coming back quickly. And in the meantime, we're now having, of course, also Medivh stacking. He didn't have as many opportunities in the early stages of the game since we lacked the brawls. Now we have a few more, so Ultralisk sitting at 15 stacks. As Thrall is again alone at the top. I mean, he's going to be met there by Dehaka very soon, I suppose. But Thrall is going to get a lot of value. And if they can help him with the rest of the team, even better. It's actually Diablo that's going to try and interrupt him here. Somehow has to slow him down. Because the Quasar has all the time and space in the world to get hits in. And this is something that they really want to avoid. 70 stacks for him already. 55 needed. And he is going to be done. He locked in the second reward already. And that has, of course, been nerfed a little bit. But he can still get a lot out of this. But of course we have a couple of objectives up, and this is where they have to finally decide where they're still okay keeping the Quasar on the side lane, or if it has to finally contribute to some of the battles. And the decision has been made. The Quasar indeed starting to attack here. Junkrat got licked but saved by Garrosh. Once again the hit from Thrall as he contributes, and they're actually taking the lead again. The French with the Riptire now too, creating a little bit more space against Dino, or attempting to. They get the connects in here, and they are 32 stacks to 12. It certainly seems that with a poke from Junkrat alone from the outside, they should be able to get themselves an objective. But the poke is happening, and that's that. That's a Frozen Punisher for the French. They are 38 already. No way Germany is taking this. No way this is happening. There we are. Frozen Punisher for the Frenchies, and now the chance to take down the wall of Germany in the middle of the map. And maybe even Dehaka. Gets bullied away, gets a lick though, but not a problem. Immediate reaction also from Garrosh as they're throwing them back out. But the wall is now getting murdered. We have the blue team slightly ahead in experience. Nice lockdown here too, and as it happens, Thrall with a couple of attacks against the structure proggered the Inspire buff on the minions, and therefore easy damage against the fort at the bot lane. So even with Thrall focusing very heavily on the side lanes throughout the game thus far, the French are doing well. It's not like we are in a situation where, you know, Germany is like, oh my god, we need to rush this, we need to get all of this done before Thrall has his quest completed or we're going to lose the game, so let's push, push, push. No, they are playing on eye level with the opponent's team. Thrall joined the last team fight, did well there, and now they are just focusing again on stacking him, and for Germany this could become a problem. Both of the teams are now on level 13 talents. And, well, Thrall is at 88 stacks. Typically, I mean, before the change was made with the new patch, for Thrall it meant that on a lot of cases you would complete the quest around the time he made it to level 16. Once you have a Thunderstorm in, you usually had also the quest on level 1 completed, roughly. And then you would really go for the big numbers here. But right now we get the attacks in, and yeah, he is going to be done very quickly. I would assume that around level 16 he's going to have it again. So the priority pick for the French is really making sense here. I mean, they wanted him for sure. Other teams neglected Thrall since the patch, but not so the French. They said, okay, we can still pull this off. We just have to shift the focus a little bit and give him the space and time. And look how they're out-rotating the Germans too. I mean, they're out-rotating the red team completely at the bottom of the map, with Junkrat now getting damage in. Heroes are consistently proccing the Inspire buff on minion waves that are pushing in against the structures, and that gives them big value here. Little gank attempt though, and a beautiful combo between Diablo and Dehaka. Junkrat, no way, is able to get out. You gotta be kidding me. What an escape here. At the bottom of the map, the engage was made, a charge from Diablo into a lick, and then despite the ult from Dehaka, he is actually able to get away. So nicely done. Junkrat not falling there was crazy. Thrall now at 106 stacks. Sits at the bot lane, and he might not be ready for the next objective, but I would certainly assume that for the one after, he's going to be done with it. So the French playing this a little bit slower right now. Lots of time. And another wave that he could technically try and go for. Yeah, I was about to say, Yasuo's going to help him out here. So the hits are made, and he is sitting at 114. Only missing 11 stacks to complete that quest. He's gonna have it by 16 for sure. Thrall already moving down to the bottom of the map. The shrine is activating in 10 seconds. Let's see how far he can go down here. Yeah, gets to 116. It's another connect, and that's 119 stacks. So he's just missing essentially one wave if he can get the entire thing. And he will complete the quest and can then contribute heavily to the team fight. So Dequaza, big. For him, absolutely big what he's pulling off here. Little check before we're heading into this. He is done, and he has currently 11,000 damage. 11,000 damage for Thrall, 20,000 for the top damage dealer, so roughly double. And now with Dequaza done, let's see what Thrall can actually pull off in these circumstances still. The objective is up, both of them are still fighting for it. It's a 5-man at the top. Dehaka tries to get the fort at the bottom of the map and is likely going to get it. He will have to join the fight if they want to have a chance at the Punisher. And here comes Dehaka. Leyline already used. Leyline into APOC. Sundering and the save on Dequaza. Nicely done by Garrosh. But the French lost Junkrat already. And they might lose Turbos on Tychus as well. Turbos goes down, and that's a double kill against the blue team. Thrall still picked up 5,000 damage in that last fight, easily. So we'll see how this is going to play out in future team fights, but Thrall certainly going to have a much easier game right now and a lot of impact. That last battle didn't really have a lot that he could contribute because the fight was lost so quickly, but picking up 5,000 damage, that's quite something. Not quite the same numbers for Tychus. He picked up 4k, I believe, but he was also in Odin form and had to fight it out because he was literally put into a corner. But we'll see how this one works out. Great setup also from Germany, of course. We talked about the importance of Medivh to keep Sergeant Hammer and others alive, but Ultralisk essentially initiated that fight with his ult, dropped the ley line, and it was just a perfect execution to allow the team to get in position and then get value there. So, very nicely done. Level 16, Thunderstorm is now getting pulled. Obviously Dehaka, he prepared the kill of the fort at the bottom of the map earlier. And now we have the topside fort taken too. While the French have done damage to the Germans, they haven't been able to take a fort out yet. So the red team is pulling ahead now. In experience, in structures, they're looking strong. Can Thrall make the difference? That's the big question right now. Can Thrall be the one that makes the big difference in the game or not? That's what we're currently looking for. Dehaka down at the bottom of the map, starting to make his move there too. Yeah, in the meantime, of course, we're having again Masquerade at the front looking for opportunities, but with all the scouting that Medivh is doing in his Raven form, there's little that he can do. It's coming out, Thrall easily burning these waves down, making it difficult for the Germans to engage. Yeah, and there's the next connect. Just poke him down slowly and apply pressure to Anduin. And his mana pool, of course. Dehaka still utilizing his global, and he's the only global on the map, so this could play a role later on as well. Only global hero that we have here, but attack in the bot lane still happening. Yeah, next move in, minion wave gone, here comes the portal, and Sergeant Hammer with a quick retreat. As I said before, Anduin plus Medivh is just so annoying. You have those pulls after level 16, you have the double pull, and then also you have the portal plays. Here comes the ley line again. The Haka comes in, goes for Stukov. Apocalypse used as well, and Junkrat is dead immediately. Beautiful engage play from Germany, time and time again. They get Junkrat, they go for Stukov, and the rest of the team is just on the run. It doesn't even matter if Thrall is able to get his quest completed and damage out, because the fight is over before he can have an impact. That's basically what happens here. Thrall has now 25,000 damage. He's closing in on Tychus. He picked up 14,000 damage since the last fight, so within just a few moments, he really explodes his numbers. But it doesn't make a difference. If every single fight starts with one or two of the squishies being gone, then Thrall is not going to change the outcome anymore. And now Germany has a 2-level lead over the blue team. They roll a level 20 talent, and they're taking down the fort in the middle of the map with the Haka. Thrall gets killed as well, and Germany is just brute forcing their way through the bot lane, going through the French like hot butter through Brie. 8 kills to 1. And the French are struggling here. Again, this is the French team that took the Germans down in the winner bracket without dropping a single map. And now Germany, after just playing a best of 5 against the Netherlands, are looking great in the grand final. Map certainly not over, but a massive advantage right now with this draft for the German team. And it's honestly a little bit surprising to me as well. This is very similar to the draft that Germany played against the Netherlands. Yes, a couple of the heroes are swapped out, but the core concept behind it, especially around Medivh and Anduin, is still the same. And the French, they didn't realize it, didn't ban any of this out, so Germany walks away with a draft that they're certainly very happy with, and at least for now, it is working. 5 versus 5 again on the map, and now, of course, the push from the French. They are in a spot where they have a talent disadvantage, and it's a big talent. Yeah, what a play against Garrosh. Oh my god. Holy hell. How sexy was that? Combo into combo into combo. Even with an APOC being unlocked here. Check this one out. So good. Garrosh moves in, doesn't expect anything. Light bomb into Apocalypse. They teed it up to perfection. Masquerade didn't even know what hit him and he was dead. Beautiful. It looked so easy, but honestly, they timed it to perfection. The communication there was just stellar. First the lick, straight into the light bomb engage, the Apocalypse afterwards, BFG comes out, and they get all the damage centered on Masquerade and they take him down. And that shuts down the fight. Thrall can poke until he gets blue in the face. But it's not going to do anything if they lose the team fight before. 29,000 damage for him right now, and this keep is gone. What keep? Exactly. Punisher baited into the middle, but Germany is of course hoping to go for the kill now. They want to go for game here. So they're starting to pressure. 9 kills to 1. Sergeant Hammer slowly, steadily pushing towards the frontier. They're having on 20, the ultra capacitors as usual. The blue team buying time, but the shield is gone, and Sergeant Hammer is just firing away, going through the portals once, twice, trying to get the hits in. Germany about to pull ahead. There's the ley line. They buy more time, and it is a victory. It's a W for the German team as they take a 2-0 lead over the French team in the grand final of the Nations Cup. GG and well played. Well, Germany is certainly pulling ahead here. A 2-0 lead in the grand final against the French now. I kind of feel it's opposite day a little bit. This is not nearly what we saw in the winner bracket from the French, so this team is wild. It's totally crazy. Very curious how this is now going to go. But I also got to say that it feels to me a little bit like the French just didn't have that combo on their cheat sheet. So this is something that, what happened on Inferno Shrines, that Germany basically played against the team from the Netherlands. The Anduin Medivh combo to save a damage dealer. In this case it was Sergeant Hammer, in the previous series it was Vala, but the thought behind it is the same, and they just didn't see it coming. They didn't try to ban it out, they didn't try to directly counter it, and they never really got to a moment where this would do anything for them. So Germany now rolling over the French team, at least on the second map. And for the blue team, it's really important to go for a bit of a mental reset right now and trying to just get control of the series again. Because Germany is very happy with what's happening here. And if they are able to win on Dragonshire, that would be a 3-0 lead. Reverse sweeps are already brutal when it's best of 5. If you're in a best of 7 series, I mean, oof, damn son, that is gonna get rough. Vikings get banned out, which is still funny to me. Germany picked Dragonshire once and played the Vikings. And since then, everybody is just like, nope, not happening anymore. We're gonna ban them. So, Falstad gets taken. Already a fantastic pick. You have a global. You have a really nice quest reward that you can go for with amazing amount of auto attack damage if you complete it. So it's a fantastic first pick for the map. The one thing that I really want to highlight that we have seen now happening a lot is that ban against Johanna. If you watch the games throughout the playoffs, Jojo has been targeted over and over and over again in a lot of these games and continues to be banned out because as we're moving from one map to another and more heroes are unavailable, that obviously also means that in comparison to the remaining heroes in the pool, she is getting even better and better. So that is something. But at this point now, as I already said, we have 20 heroes that are unavailable. So 20 are gone from the pool. We get now Genji and Muradin. And yeah, Muradin always a good pick for Dragonshire too. They are going for the mobility game again. I can guarantee you they're going to pick Karazim. If Karazim doesn't get banned, they're going to go for Karazim. Germany is basically just recycling their drafts at this point. They really are. They played nearly the same draft on Infernal Shrines as they did against the Netherlands right now. Just swapping out a few heroes, but still maintaining the same roles and the same pattern. And now they're going again for that hyper-aggressive play. If they could get a Ural, they would put a Ural in with this. They have Genji, they have Muradin, Karazim would be an option for them. Stitches gets now banned, and I really want to see if the French react to this in any way, shape or form. Last time, I think Germany, if I'm not mistaken, did it with Tyrael, and now it's Muradin. It's just that mobility as they're trying to not only rotate between lanes and objectives, but also attempt to jump on the opponent. Now, there are a few tools against that right now from the French, but I'm very curious about this map. I don't think that you're necessarily banning Karazim here. They're banning Raxa instead. But I'm not so sure that Raxa would have even been a pick for Germany. So now we have the 3-4 for the red team. And I'm curious. I'm really curious how they're going to play this now. In a great spot, of course. They can take some risks here now as well, considering that they are in a 2-0 lead over the opponent's team. So it doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, let's see what the Germans lock in. Raxa as a king of Dragonshire at the top. Chen didn't want to go up against him. And here comes Karazim. Shocking, I know. And together with that, we get Jaina. So now you have your burst damage. You have a tool with Jaina where you can, after a lock from Muradin or anyone else, you can get the damage in. You still have your hyper-mobile squad around Karazim, Muradin, and Genji that can easily jump in on a target and try to blow it to Kingdom Come. Lucio, for example. Falstad would be another one. And if you isolate anybody, if Chen dives in just a little bit too deep, for example, here's a 7-sided strike straight to your face and you're gonna be down. Mal'Ganis, we've seen him a lot more after the recent patch, especially that level 1 talent is highly popular now. And together with that we get Gul'dan, so Horrifies could make the difference. But we still need that side laner for the Germans to round out their draft. Very curious how Mal'Ganis and Gul'dan now work for the French. There's some cool picks here. But Germany, again, with a very, very familiar draft that we're now seeing from them. And what does that mean for our side lane pick? And, well, it is Leoric in this case. Leo is in. He can still ghost in. Similar mobility, I suppose. Can drop that in Tomb and allow Karazim to make some moves. But either way, the dynamic is still there. Germany, game number 3 against the French. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the grand final of the Nations Cup. Let's go. Map number 3, Dragonshire is the map, and we have on the left Mal'Ganis, played by Masquerade. We got Tobos on Falstad. Banana H is playing Lucio, and we got Yasuo on Gul'dan. Will of Tichondrios, of course, the level 1 talent for the French here. Mal'Ganis is very popular after the recent patch, and this is one of the reasons why. Chen, played by Dequaza. We're going straight for the accumulating flame here. Breath of Fire has been changed as a talent a little bit for Chen, so that plays a big role in that decision making as well. On the right side, it's Hazo Ops and Leoric for the Germans. We got the Dark Wolf on Muradin, Death Knight on Karazim, Ultralist with Genji, and Dino is playing Jaina. The quest, of course, on level 1 with the Pursuit of Flame for Gul'dan, so it's all about trying to complete that before dying. And let's get the show on the road right now. Big battle already in the middle. Everybody is getting aggressive over here. Oh, yeah. But I want to see what Masquerade can pull off with Mal'Ganis. That level 1 talent can really, really make a difference if you are properly stacking it. And we have seen glimpses of that already. But I want to see what Masquerade is able to do here. Now, top lane, Chen up against Leoric. As I already said, there are some changes now. Quasar going into that level 1 talent. Definitely also because of the changes to Breath of Fire. But you have the mythic reward here as well. So this is going to be pretty sweet once that he completes it. Damage increase, obviously, a little bit of an armor reduction too, so you can really have a huge impact for the team and help them out to get kills too, once that you are going deep on the opponent's lineup. Falstad flying towards the top after taking the camp at the bottom of the map. So they're now trying to tag team Leoric as they are breaking through the mercenary camp here. But yeah, okay, there's already a rotation coming from the Germans, so they're moving towards the top now. They're in an absolute luxury position here. Having a 2-0 advantage in the best of 7 is, of course, fantastic for them. And we'll see if they can extend that further, or if this is where the French just shut it down. Now, Masquerade is going to try and channel that through a few times, but that also allows for some easy stacks for Mal'Ganis, because every time that Muradin approaches, I'm gonna have him turn this around. Oh, Genji, yep, has to zip out as we have a little bit of a sucky play from Yasuo. Goes for the drain here. Next hit is already coming. And Quasar, again, totally different build right now. We have seen Chen many times since the patch, but this is the first time that we have seen some serious adjustments to the traditional build, just simply because of the changes that Blizzard brought in with the last patch. Withering Flame, for example, taken right there, so there's a good chance that he's going to try and jump in on some of the big damage dealers in the back, like Jaina, in order to make something work. And yeah, I'm really curious how much of an impact Quasar is going to have here. We're having down at the bottom of the map, Lucio zipping around, there's still the double control, and Muradin is currently very alone in the middle of the map in an attempt to take this. Chen will try to stop Leoric at the top. And this looks very much like a Dragonite. Ah, Genji! Ultralis just arriving in the nick of time. And down at the bottom of the map, the retake attempt now from the opponent's team. The Germans taking control. Same up at the top. And yeah, this is going to get super interesting here. Both of them doing everything they can in order to shut things down on the opponent's side as quickly as possible. But there was lots of pressure. There was lots of good pressure from the French as they were trying to make that play work. And then, of course, the Germans now trying to return the favor. Still, Chen is stacking, sitting at 12 now. And also Mal'Ganis. We're going to have a look at his damage output later. Once he's going past the 40, you can obviously stack this into oblivion, essentially. An early level 7 talent already for the team. And, yeah, there comes the added damage through the secret weapon now. Falstad, he is going to be a late-game menace against the front line. Muradin in particular is not going to have a whole lot of fun with this. He's currently trying to stack to 45 so that he gets his PS on the Stormbolt. Yasuo! And that's a kill. Quest also reset. The counter kill against Jaina. Still, I'd say the quest reset makes that worth it. That's also where the utility of Falstad came in straight away. Because this was exactly what they needed there. Get that mobility, fly down, and then just lock in an easy kill. Obviously, we still have the attempt to go for another channel, but Genji, he has something to say about that too, and is like, yeah, nope, not happening right now. More and more damage at that wall at the bottom of the map, though, and the Dark Wolf is not going to be able to hold this by himself. We see in the middle still the pressure. And Chen up at the top is still going up against Leo. Has to, of course, be careful with all that drain. It's artificially boosting Leo's damage. He's going to be high up on the damage charts for sure, with Chen just presenting him a target the entire time and attempting to hold on to control of that shrine. Mal'Ganis setting things up again. Tobos gets jumped. And Falstad is gone. The chicken has been eliminated. Yeah, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Team Germany with kill number 2. And if they would have just known what's happening over here on the left side, they would have maybe even invaded that. But we now have 69 stacks for Falstad. Nice. And at the top, the control established by Germany. It's a very slow back and forth right now between the teams. Everybody's hoping for a Dragonite and to hope to get an advantage here. There's obviously a lot of stacking quests in the mix that the teams are trying to aim for. We have also Melganis doing more and more work himself up at the front. I mean, at this point, he needs the 40 stacks before he gets another big reward here. But is already well underway. With them again trying to go for the Dragonite. They're getting closer. They're forcing Muradin and Genji to react right now, but there are a couple of defenders. And finally, at the bottom of the map, Jaina has been able to retake this, or this could have been the first objective. But there is damage done at the top lane too. France is pushing. So now they have a much better position in this early game, and Leo has very little that he can throw against them. That's lots of damage on that fort. They might get the entire thing. So, yeah, this is brutal. That fort is going to fall, and that was a fantastically executed attack. At the bottom of the map, Hondios, Masquerade still sitting tight. Gul'dan is obviously trying to get his stacks going again on level 1. So, yeah, that's the next one. But by now, we're having 40 stacks nearly for Muradin, so he's getting very close to lock in his Pierce. Again, get those double stuns going. The Horrify, and Muradin gets murdered. They kick the Ragdoll around too. Poor Ragdoll, fully eliminated over here. Just like total disregard for Muradin's corpse. Good reason too. Just kicking it to the other end of the screen. Get out of here. And down at the bottom of the map. Ooh, Ultralisk. Yeah, ultra spicy plays here. Death Knight just needed a target and can jump on it, so he's jumping out. But, yeah, in the meantime, they're going for Leo. Ultralisk is coming in again. And Genji has a problem. X strikes and is able to get away, but with a beautiful Entomb, they're teeing up a kill against Gul'dan again, who loses his stacks. 7-sided strike is out as well, but they can't follow it up with the second kill. So we still have some nice battles going on between the two teams, as everybody is attempting to establish dominance in the game. 3 kills to 2, 8 minutes in. Leo gets attacked and is able to move out. Lucio starting to jump in on him a little bit. Death Knight also low. Genji appearing. And this could be the end of Karazim. And it is. Karazim is gone. And the chance at this point for Germany at least to get an objective. I don't think that they can pull it off, considering that they're at a numbers disadvantage. But at least they have the double control. 34 stacks for Masquerade on his level 1. This is really something that I'm curious about. I want to see how much he is able to do as the game continues. Because we're only 8.5 minutes in. So Masquerade already being at a point where he's nearly completing his level 1 quest. It's actually pretty big. And then of course on the other side, we're now getting the accumulating flame, where we're going to get even more. We have 31 done, so you're halfway there. And then you're going to get your mythic reward, which is of course a massive game changer as well. Dark Wolf again, attack. Nice stacks also for Falstad. And that's the end of Muradin. Getting murdered once again. Budget Gimli is gone. Yeah. With that said though, having the attack against the backline here, namely Karazim. Dash target provided, and he's able to escape. But Germany is losing more and more ground, and this is also reflected in the gap in experience that we're seeing. We now have 9 minutes on the clock, and this is a 1-level full advantage. Little side note, we are looking at 17,000 damage for Melganis. Doesn't really sound like much, but if you compare that to some of the other damage dealers here, for a main tank, it's really not too shabby. Murder on the other side is sitting at 9,000. So more of a side laner damage that we have. And the quest is now completed. So Melganis is doing better and better here. Now they jump on Jaina. Banana H maybe went a little bit too deep. Is still able to escape. And Masquerade was able to get himself a kill. And look at the damage numbers now. He just picked up another 3,000-4,000 damage. Now they're getting the kills down here too after a fantastic Gust and Horrify. And France is just brutalizing this. Very different performance now all of a sudden now from the blue team. But yeah, big damage coming in from Melganis now after the quest completion. And with the 3 kills that he just locked in, this is of course going to be the first objective of the game. Yasuo picks it up, so we're gonna get a Dragonite. They are already close to level 16. That's another one. And it's obviously not only Mal'Ganis that is getting closer with its quest rewards. If you're looking over to Falstad, for example, he's about to lock in the next reward as well. And is going to have some big numbers on this too. Ford in the middle doesn't stand a prayer. That thing is going 100%. So might be Karasim. Tries to get away here. Is able to dash out. But while all this happens, Chen is following up and is chasing him down. So that's a kill right there. Lucy has to be careful and changes directions after Genji got kicked his way. And yeah, he still wants the kill. Can't get it, but at least Jaina dies. They just took down Mal'Ganis and Chen, so lots of fights happening, and Gul'dan is also not safe. Hazops gets killed, and then a second later, Gul'dan has to suffer a reset on his level 1 talent again. So yeah, tough times. That fight in the corner here was a bit too much. The burst damage from Jaina alone was quite something. But by now, again, the stacks are coming in, and even with Germany getting a little bit more headway there, they're still trailing with the talent, which makes obviously the last fight even more impressive than being able to win it. The damage output for Mal'Ganis, 26,000. Again, Mal'Ganis with 26,000 right now. So that is pretty big. Compare that to the top damage on the blue team, which is Gul'dan. He's just trailing that. And then you have 30,000 for Genji, but he's really up there. So completing that level 1 quest and then continuing the stacking process is really doing a lot for the team. Not only a fantastic frontline tank with lots of utility for them, but also a very fair amount of damage output that he can utilize in order to make plays. But yeah, here comes the play from Leo as he's starting to move in. We're having 10 kills for the French now. They're looking very, very good here. Still at 1 level advantage that they're running. 2 forts destroyed, 1 still standing at the bottom of the map. Falstad, of course, stacking even more. And here comes Genji. Straight into the back, hoping for some easy shots against Falstad, which hasn't really happened yet. And, well, Leo is able to get out. So by now we're having the Kek against Dino. He's in trouble. Jaina about to go down. And another kill. The Horrify used to Genji, hoping to get a counter kill. Instead, Ultralis becomes the target. He falls. So does Leo. And it's the end of Falstad a moment later. Big hits, big kills, and the French again with a triple kill. Fantastic trade for the blue team as they're chasing the Germans down slowly, starting to get the move on against Karasim, and Death Knight is gone. They want the 5-man team wipe as they are ruthlessly following on the Dark Wolf, but the fort will fall 100%. 14 kills to 7 right now, and again, that is the performance that we've seen from the French in the winner bracket. Way more like it. I really think they were caught off guard from the Anduin and Medivh combo on the last map, that particular style that we've seen from Germany against the Netherlands. But right now, they are more so in the element. And kudos to them, really shaking this off on a mental level. That takes a lot. They are about to get the second Dragon Knight, and Germany is, of course, struggling here. They're really struggling. I mean, they are 2 levels behind right now. That gap in experience has been widened. We have 54 stacks now, 55 for Mal'Ganis. I mean, he's getting worse and worse and worse. The man is becoming a monster. And then here's the kill on Jaina. Yeah, Mal'Ganis just showing her what a real Dreadlord looks like. As Leo gets destroyed too. And off we go. So that is the hit. Mal'Ganis is top damage right now. Mal'Ganis is literally top damage at this point. 16 kills to 7. And what an absolute clinic they're putting on here. The damage output of Mal'Ganis is honestly just flooring me right now. I mean, he's been played a lot since the patch, and you can absolutely see why. So, the Dragon Knight already on the core, and this is where the French are gonna put the point onto the scoreboard. This is where they're gonna take the victory. The blue team with a W on Dragonshire, ladies and gentlemen, as they take down the Germans and finally put a point onto the scoreboard. GG, and well played. That was a quick Hogger pick. Alright. Battlefield of Eternity is our 4th map right now. And the French have woken up. The French, actually, they woke up. They put a point onto the scoreboard now. And this last map looked way better. And also, it looked really interesting from the point of view that with the new patch, Mal'Ganis was changed a little bit. And we've now seen him in a position where he just put insane damage out. He actually ended up being the top damage dealer for the blue team. So, really interesting. And I want to see a little bit more of that in the future. But of course, now we have 30 heroes that have been played and are therefore eliminated from the hero pool. Consistently, Johanna being banned out doesn't come as a surprise. We are on Battlefield. That means you're now looking at heroes that can dish out damage against the Immortal very quickly. And we are really getting to a point right now in the Best of 7 series where it's, of course, also starting to affect the map or the hero pool at least a little bit. And we are guaranteed at least 5 maps in total. So things will even accelerate more down that line. Now we got Hanzo as our first pick. And let's see what's happening over on the left side. The blue team definitely with a much better third game. I mean, not only did they win it, but they also looked way better in the way that they coordinated things. So that gives me a little bit of hope that the series is now going to get even a bit more intense. Because especially what we saw on Infernal Shrines, oh, that was tricky. That was really brutal for the blue team, but now the French are waking up here. And we got Varian for Masquerade, always a great pick for him. And then Tobos with Vala, so arrow build very likely to try and take down the Immortal, but a really nice lock for them as well. If Varian gets the taunt in, then we get essentially the double arrow. And here comes again that Arthur's pick for Germany that we've now seen a few times. I said this in the last draft already. They are very much so recycling a lot of the drafts and ideas that they had in previous games and series on certain maps. We've seen this on Dragonshire, we've seen this on Infernal Shrines, we're now seeing it again on the side of Team Germany with Battlefield of Eternity. That Arthur's pick is now happening for the 3rd time ever since the patch rework came in on this specific map. The idea for them really being that they're using him as a CC tool. That Howling Blast focus is there, and then it's a lot of slows, it's a lot of lockdowns. Typically they want a tank that also can initiate things for them. They played this with Murden and a few others in the past. So the idea always being get a Stormbolt in, get a bit of CC from your main tank, and then let Arthur simply run this as well. Try and draw a lot of fire from your opponent because he's really difficult to take down. Doesn't maybe not have the damage output, but especially with his Shatter on level 4 with Howling Blast, he can then also tee up damage dealer. They did that with Chromie, for example, in the previous series. So something to really think about. They certainly have a couple of core elements that they like to play on certain maps, and this is making, I want to say, a little bit predictable, but they are also very strong with it. I mean, they have a draft that they are totally confident in, and it hasn't been fully interrupted by the opponent. They banned out Zarya here, which I haven't seen them play yet. They might have used it in scrims though. So by now, red team, they're coming in on the main tank side with apparently Arthurs. Alright. No, Uther main tank. Uther actually playing in the main tank. And then Oriel and Malthael. Over on the French side, Banana on Ana. With Imperius now playing Dequaza. And then of course, yeah, for Yasu as the last pick, we'll see what he's going to get if they're going to go for a triple frontline. But now you go up against Malthael and against Arthur, so you really have to think about your choice here. Vala is their main damage dealer against the Immortal, but what else are they going to look on over here? Lots of melee that we already have on both sides. And they go Jimmy. Tobos might actually switch over to Reyna, considering that he's been the Jim Reyna player for the team for a lot of games. But either way, guys, game number 4. We are in the grand final. France against Germany. It's a banger and we're going straight into the next map. Game number 4. It's getting spicy. We got Dequaza on Imperius. Banana's playing Ana because the Germans decided to not ban Ana against Banana. And now Tobos on Vala, Masquerade on Varian, and Yasu on Reyna. We get contact healing on level 1 for Ana, grenade build so far. On the right side, the Germans with Dino and Hanzo. Death Knight on Oriel. We get Ultralisk on Malthael, the Dark Wolf as the main tank Uther with the double support that they're playing here. And then, of course, with Frost Presence on level 1, Hazops on Arthurs. Yep, lots of CC, lots of control coming from him. And this is what I talked about earlier. If you're taking a look at Frostmourne and Hungers here, the whole idea basically is, with the quest, that you're permanently increasing the basic attack damage. Oh my god. that was rough. Oh, poor Vala. That was way too quick. Baited and killed. Okay. As I was about to say, though, I already talked about this a little bit earlier as we're heading into the grand final, but as you can see here, the suggestion to me when I read this is that if you play mechanically well and diligent as the game continues, you're becoming more of a damage dealer and you're becoming somebody that is a proper bruiser on the side lane. And even with Arthur stacking well, that moment just never arrives. So what I would really like for Blizzard to do is to say, okay, we're going to increase the damage output to not only 1 damage point, but 1.2. And just slowly start to stack the numbers a bit until you get to a point where the hero really gets to a position that you want him in. That doesn't mean that Arthas is a bad pick here. As we said before, especially in the series against the Netherlands, as I was discussing this with Fixler, he still brings a lot of utility and has, with his Shadow on level 4, the ability to also empower other heroes on the team to do more damage and get kills in. But if the idea of the rework was to make him more of a bruiser and really get him into that damage position, which obviously is suggested by that baseline, then I think it missed that mark a little bit and they could change things here. This is my personal opinion on things, but yeah, we'll see. For now, with that 1 kill that we got at the beginning, obviously, Vala got shut down initially, but she's still sitting at 4 stacks right now and doing her thing. All the way up at the top, Ultralisk is now alone. It's like the 2-3 split that we currently see between the teams and that we have here for the time being. But it's a pretty wild game for sure. And a series in particular. I mean, again, initially we had the thought that Germany might even walk away with a clean victory because game number 2 in particular was a rough one for the French team. But given their performance in the winner bracket, in the playoffs in general, that was, of course, that would have been an upset. That would have been quite the upset. And now the French are bringing this back. Objective number 1 is coming in. So this is where we're now going to see what exactly the teams can do. First, the attack against Masquerade down at the bottom of the map as they're starting to attack him quickly. But with the Immortal now popping up, it's time for the teams to make a play. And we have Exterminator. So Jimmy had, for sure, multiple ways to play this one out. Could have also gone into stacks or ace in the hole. But they now run Vala with an arrow build and Jimmy with Exterminator. So they have the double here. Which means that any kind of race on the Immortal, if it's just a straight up damage battle, they are likely going to win it. Germany, though, very quickly up on the objective with Hanzo. They got the double support, so lots of sustain that they can run here. Vala still stacking, using the repeating arrow. She doesn't have Monster Hunter yet, of course. They get the connect on Malthael, and there's the kill. The French coming in with some aggression, and they're also taking the halftime show. Jimmy goes brrrr with his level 1 talent, and all of a sudden the hit points are gone and the Immortal is at half HP. So Germany currently under some pressure. They got Malthael back up on the map, but again, Jimmy is just burning that. I have no idea what just happened there. Yasuo ignored the stun circle and they get stunned out, get slowed down as a result. Uther falls on the right side though, so even in a 4 versus 5, Germany loses their main tank. They get a kill on Imperius at least. It's not over yet. Vala is about to die too. Jimmy, again, pushing them back. And he is going to get the Immortal at least, as Anna gets attacked and murdered by Hanzo as a result. Even Varian falls, so the entire team gets wiped off the map with the exception of Reina. So that's 5 kills to 2 and a lead in experience for Germany. Very weird one, honestly. I mean, a really, really weird outcome there. It all started with Uther getting killed and then the Immortal taken, but the French get wiped off the map. And that was a wild one. And it certainly wasn't worth it. If we would have seen 1 hero die, maybe 2, and then, you know, you can still execute some kind of pressure play with the Immortal, I would have said, alright, whatever. But I don't think that that was worth it. That problem in experience is something that could come back to bite them on the second objective when a team hits level 10. Especially if they lose more heroes in the meantime. And yes, Imperius gets Hanzo'd. That's the end of Jimmy, and boy, oh boy, is the French team all of a sudden in trouble here. 7 kills to 2, and that is a 1 level advantage that we're talking about right now. Yeah, Germany is going through the blue team like hot butter through brie, or hot butter through cheese. depending on what you prefer here. And again, quick reminder, if you want to check out some of our hot butter through cheese merch or the other merch that we have, you can check out the link in the description. Keep in mind, we have the amazing apron. One of my admins insisted that we needed an apron in the shop, and I told him it's a stupid idea, that nobody wants an apron. But apparently, the hot butter through cheese apron has magic abilities. Your food is 5% more nutritious and tastes 10% better. That's the only way I can explain why a lot of people are getting an apron. So, yeah, if you want to check that out, you are free to do so too. And of course, we got some Nations Cup merch in there as well. So if you want to support the stream, check it out. Links are, as I mentioned already, in the description. Rotation towards the top now. Level 10 is in. This is one of the problems that I already pointed out a little bit earlier for the French team. That around the second objective, likely they will face off against the level 10 ability, as the red team has taken the experience advantage. So they're looking pretty good here. With last rites, Auriel is going for Resurrect. So they have now not only a Divine Shield, but also Resurrect to play this out. Germany can't fight it like this, though. I honestly don't quite understand what Germany is currently doing here. That seems a little bit silly to me. You have a level 10 ability. Why are you not protecting your own immortal? I really don't get what they're doing here. What is this? Huh? They had level 10 and they didn't defend their own immortal against a team that is running Vala with Monster Hunter and Jimmy with Exterminator. So now they basically had a 50-50 on the halftime show. They're still winning the objective because of the position now. And because the blue team can't get to the immortal anymore, but they could have had a much stronger shield here. Much stronger shield than this. And they just let that slide. With level 10, they could have postured around the defensive position, could kept Hanzo of the opponent's immortal, and they would have been able to get a much bigger one, I think. But they decided against that, and therefore Jimmy and Vala were able to do a lot of damage. Obviously not win it for the team, but still. Now we have heroic abilities on both sides, and the immortal already on the lane up at the top. Vala, despite all of the problems that they had previously, doesn't really lack in stacks that much. 14 is nothing crazy, but it's still not too shabby. You have obviously Arthur still working on his level 1 quest and connects another Howling Blast with Jimmy as we speak. So they're trying to get also the damage in against Varian again, stray from Vala. Zoning them out a little bit, but the top fort is lost. Top fort already done. And boy, oh boy, that last rights kill against Vala nets him a bit of cooldown reduction. The first stack, Arthur's not brought over the wall, and Uther very quickly drops the Divine Shield and says, boy, I gotcha. So Resurrect is also still available in case that somebody falls here. But after the fort gets destroyed and that leading experience is still being maintained by Germany, France has to now just resign themselves to the fact that they won't be able to get another kill here. So 2 kills to 8 as they're rotating down to the bottom of the map. They are stabilizing a little bit, but the scavenger experience is going to be difficult to shrug off. That's definitely going to be a problem. 26,000 damage for Hanzo, and we got 20,000 for Jimmy. On the objective, the combo of him plus Vala are, of course, always going to do well throughout the game. But it's the team fights that are a little bit worrisome right now. Now Arthur, he's going to try and stack specifically his Howling Blast. Wants to get the full control here, especially with the path, of course. And they're doing pretty okay on this now. Arthur's also with level 10 Army of the Dead, and he went into the Icebound Fortitude. I mean, it's the same build that they now executed already a few times. So it's working nicely for them. And all that control empowers so many of the champions on the team. And he's difficult to take down. That's one of the things. He's drawing a lot of attention of the opponent when he starts to move straight into you. And they have to somehow try and deal with it. So with a level 13 advantage, they can push this further even more. Death Chill is now in as well, so you have even more of a damage increase based on what you're doing with your baseline quests. And with the Immortal now being up, they are taking the quick lead. Jimmy could move over and try and take the shield down a little bit, but they're fighting at the bottom of the map. The French have the problem that they're still not in possession of a level 13 talent, so that's an issue. And it's, yeah, not getting any easier. The team is losing the halftime show battle already. They still don't have level 13. They won't be able to get it for the Immortal, or at least it's highly unlikely. And then the question is, how much further can they go here? because Germany is certainly going to try and push for this and then eliminate the second fort of the game. And with more and more ground lost from the French, this game is going to be... it's going to get tricky. Guys, if they lose this map, it's a 1-3 score. Germany would have one match point after another. So it's a very, very different dynamic that we're getting here compared to the winner bracket. Germany is looking like they might just get their revenge here against the French and crown themselves the champions once again in the Nations Cup. Moving it back here. Once again, the attack all the way up at the top with a lot of long poke from Hanzo. Divine Shield is out. Malthael looking for last rites again. Here comes the arrow. Big damage, but nobody dropping low enough. And they're falling back for now. But the Immortal is, of course, falling. The French finally have the level 13 talent, but it's just not enough to really stem those tides, to stop the bleeding. So they take the camp and they're trying to defend at the bottom of the map, but the Germans are going to now fall back down to the bot lane and try to push with that Immortal. 22 stacks for Vala. Nice, but not good enough just yet. We'll see if they can maybe get a little bit more. Big shield. Big shield. They're taking it down quickly. Again, they got good tools. Exterminator and Monster Hunter. But that keep, that fort, it's still gonna fall. Vala is low, and she can thank her guardian angel that there was no Malthael around for last rites. In this case, they're taking down Varian. Now the counter kill attempt, and Arthas falls. Hazops is dead. Last rites, by the way, not you. Oh, actually, it was used. My bad. Didn't get an immediate kill. No, it did. Sorry, it was involved in the kill earlier, so they have 2 stacks now for him. 9 kills to 3. 1 level advantage. The fort is gone, and with Varian out, they're breaking through that wall as well, extending the lead in experience even further. Germany playing this slow, cool, calm, collected, not presenting any opportunities, any weaknesses to the French that the blue team could exploit. It's a tough one right now. The French are trying to do what they can, but they're setting up traps. They're keeping Varian around too. They have Jimmy on the lane for experience. They want to get to level 16, of course, because that is the next stop for the red team. And they nearly have it. Attack against Malthael, and no way! Ultralis gets out of the fight. Anna is low. Unbelievable. No kills yet, but they might get one against Equaza down here. Dino survives and Imperius falls. Unbelievable that Malthael didn't die. Unbelievable. Mad play by the French. Really trying to force that kill, but they couldn't make it work. And then they lose Imperius a few seconds later. Super frustrating, of course, for them right now. We got 16 for Germany. Next objective should be announced soon. The French are trying to get to a point where they have their own level 16 talents, but 30 seconds are probably not going to be enough to make that work. So really difficult for them now. And obviously when you look at the minimap, they have to venture out fairly far to get 2 minion waves that they can take on. And that's exactly where Arthas then comes into play again. Gets the Howling Blast connected. They go for Masquerade. Try to slow him down here. Stuns, slows, everything in with Arthas. Another Howling Blast. And Vala gets sniped. Sniped by Malthael. Another stack for him. That's 3 stacks on the level 10. And now they collapse onto Jimmy and get a follow-up kill. 12 kills, 2-3. And this is starting to hurt. And it hurts a lot. The French, they're just not getting a foothold in this game. They're trying to stabilize the entire time, and it seems nearly impossible for them. Vala has at least 30 stacks now, but what good is that going to do for you when you're dead and gone? So now the push at the top, even without the Immortal, they're opening the entire wall up. They have a camp pushing, they have the catapult, they have the minion wave, and they got their heroes in play. With a level 16 talent advantage, they're ruthlessly exploiting it here and get even some damage in on the keep itself. Arthas with another connect on the Howling Blast starts to move back. Malthael has already started to go for the Immortal and is leaving that up to the rest of the team as he's focusing on the lane itself. At least the blue team has now level 16, but what they really need are kills. They need to get some momentum here, and the only way to do that is force a team fight and try and get some kills going. Take a numbers advantage of the map and attempt to exploit it, and I'm not sure if they can. So right now, we got 12 kills to 3. Big advantage for Germany. They still have a 2-level advantage over the opponent's team. The French need kills. They need an engage. They need a fight. They're looking for it. They get the taunt in. Arrow into the backline though. Anna is immediately getting pressured. So is Vala. The kill is in. Stack number 4 for Malthael. Imperius is gone. They walk Vala down too. She has no chance here. The CC bot that is Arthur's is just denying her any movement. And now the top lane is completely opened up and the keep will likely fall. Of course, we're going to get another Immortal for the red team, and it's going to be 100% shield that they are running with. 61,000 damage right now for Hanzo. We're getting 53,000 for Vala, but that top keep doesn't stand a prayer. Has no chance. The Immortal, yes, it will travel through the bot lane, but this is disastrous for the French team. The lead in experience has now nearly been extended to 3 levels, and they are just absolutely crushing it. Crushing it. 15-3 on the kill count. Waiting this out a little bit so that Dino can start the camp at the bottom of the map before they take the Immortal. Massive shield, and the French, they can just sit there and try and defend. That's all that they got left. What else are they going to do? They're going to probably try and flank in from the side and see if they get a surprise engage somehow. And the chances of that happening are somewhere between 0 and 0.5%. And, well, it happens. But Resurrect is obviously still a thing. So, can be resurrected after this. Arrow into the back, and Vala is about to die. Dies to Malthael again. Resurrect on Uther. Didn't even use his Divine Shield on purpose. They're walking them down one after another. That's another double kill. Anna gone. Varian gone. Jimmy gone. And so is all hope. The French, they're going to lose this one. They're going to lose on Battlefield of Eternity. The keep at the bottom of the map falls. Level 20 is ready. Oriel, in this case, is going for the Angelic Flight. They want the full 5-man team wipe. And they get it. Off they go. Germany takes down the blue team. They take down the French on Battlefield of Eternity and establish a 3-1 lead in the best of 7 series, yet the grand final of the Nations Cup. Nicely done, GG, and well played. Match point for Team Germany! It's a 3-1 score, and we're going to Towers of Doom. Probably the best map of the Germans. I would argue it's the best map for them by far. When it comes to the bans right now, this is also going to get very interesting because we had a couple of bans that were carried over from map to map throughout the entire series. Johanna would be another example. And I think this is just going to continue because now we have 40 heroes that cannot be played anymore. 40 heroes that were already played and are therefore unavailable. So you really need to make your choice right now what kind of composition you want to go for and what you're still willing to give your opponent. And Germany, for example, is debating that right now. Do they ban Jojo or do they ban somebody else? Because you could also ban out the Vikings. Keep in mind, Vikings weren't played yet. This is a typical Viking map, and for some reason Team France hasn't actually banned them. So they ban Johanna, and now my question would be, is there they are. Vikings are getting picked. I mean, this was basically announced and sent over to the Germans via snail mail. If you are going up against the German team and you do not ban the Vikings on Towers of Doom, it is quite clear that you want them. And Quasar locks them in immediately. So we get a Viking game, and Team Germany is reacting with Tracer and Malfurion. It's going to be a wild one. This might be the last game of the series. Again, this is the grand final. It is a best of 7, and if Germany is able to take it here on one of their best maps, then it is over. They will be the champion. And France would come in second place, which would of course be fairly disappointing for them, considering that they took the Germans out in the winner bracket without even dropping a map. They defeated them with a 3-0 back then. But now we get Greymane and we get ETC. But yeah, it's interesting. With the ban on Zeratul, basically, what the French just told Germany is, okay guys, either you give us Jojo or you give us the Vikings. That's your choice. And Germany decided that they don't want to give Johanna up here. That's too strong of a tank considering what else is banned and what's available. But Masquerade also with ETC, another great choice for him. Tyrande gets banned, so this combo between an ETC power slide and the Tirana stun afterwards is now eliminated. Oh, yeah, it's getting wild. I certainly hope that we're at least going to get another map out of this. It would be really cool to see what the teams are going to do with all of the restrictions in the draft that will come after this. But this is a strong map for the German team, even with the Vikings now being picked up by Quasar. Abathur gets banned. If you have the Tracer running after you with a bit of symbiote support, Abathur can, of course, be an absolute pain, and they do not want to go up against this. But how is Germany now going to react to this? Vikings picked early again. They know exactly, of course, how to play against them. So they go for D.Va in this case, which they actually showcased in some of the other games already. And we're getting Mei at the front line. So given the fact that we had a lot of games played already where we had triple frontline plays by the teams, this also means that your frontline tanks are slowly starting to disappear here. So it gets a lot harder to get a really proper tank in play that you want to play with the composition. Now, again, still some around here, not saying that we don't have any options anymore, but now they're moving into Mei, they're moving into D.Va with this, and they have Tracer, so they're basically going for full team Overwatch at this point, trying to channel the power of that. More CC now from Khaldor, and we get Whitemane, which leaves us with the final pick for Germany as we're about to head into the first match point of this best of 7 series. So, what is Germany going to do here, and can they win it right now? Can they crown themselves the champions of the Nations Cup? That's the big question. The French obviously have other plans, but as the final pick comes in, it is Orphea, and this is setting the stage for our Towers of Doom game. Ladies and gentlemen, Nations Cup 2026, it is France against Germany. Game on! Whitemane for Banana H for the French as they are trying to throw everything they have against the Germans. We have Tobos on Greymane, Quasar on the Vikings, Yasuo on Khaldor, and then Masquerade on ETC. Over on the red team side, a full girls team with Harzorps on D.Va, Death Knight on Malfurion, yes, I know, Dino on Tracer, the Dark Wolf on Mei, and Ultralisk on Orphea. Girl power as the red team is hoping to win the series, clench out a victory here, and crown themselves the Nations Cup champions. We got on level 1 for the Vikings, the Viking Bribery as we're starting this up. ETC with a couple of stacks as well. Prog Rock on 1, and off we go. D.Va, by the way, with the pro moves right there, and we need to see some of those pro moves for sure if they want to win this. And they are trying to execute them against Banana H, and there's the first blood. First blood for Germany. Set back for the French already, as they are of course trying to run their 4-man. Basically, when you're playing the Vikings, you're trying to at least soak experience on 2 lanes with them, and then you're coming in with the 4-man, moving from lane to lane, trying to force fights. Ultralisk, oh my god, no way! Makes it out and then turn it on Masquerade. Brutal, absolutely brutal. They thought they had Orphea locked down, but it was a ruse all along. And that's the second kill. Easy. 2 kills to 0, and Germany steals the opponent's camp away. Uh-oh. That's certainly not what they were hoping for when they picked that draft. Now, Vikings are obviously quite powerful as the game continues and usually give you the macro advantage, especially around the altar spawns. Triple altars on the map and the Vikings can either interrupt or channel depending on what you need from them, while also soaking experience. But falling behind by 2 kills and then also losing your mercenary camp, that is of course not how you would like to start off into such an important map. Now, we'll see. Germany is still willing to fight for their own camp here. D.Va is slowly moving towards the middle. She's the one rotating between lanes as we speak. And instead, Masquerade is getting targeted, mainly by Tracer. And Dino has been an absolute, integral part of the team and the backbone of the Germans for a long time here on the damage numbers, together with Ultralisk. And he's obviously, with now Tracer, just whittling the HP down and making it really, really tough for specifically ETC up at the front line. So we'll see how Khaldor is going to be able to follow up on any kind of stun. They are hoping to use the CC against the red team. And with a good gravity lapse, you can certainly do a whole lot here. ETC himself now also with speed metal as the level 4 choice. And the German team is still pushing. Now we have the first objective coming up, and there's the counterplay attempt as they're going in for Ultralis. Khaldor's also a bit low. Immediate pressure on him, by the way. So, of course, identified as one of the main damage dealers and follow-ups with Gravity Labs, so they're trying to shut him down and interrupt that pattern as best as they can. We now have a lead in experience for the German team that they established in the earlier stages. 2 camps taken by them, and now it is channel time. Tracer at the top is trying that, and Eric is obviously here. Too swift, too furious, and comes in again for another interrupt, but D.Va is already helping out, so they're going to take the Quasar's Eric on. As down at the bottom of the map, it's a kill on Mei. Alright, so the French able to get 2 out of the 3 altars, and they're able to get a kill against Mei. That's a little bit more like it. That's more what I expected here for them for now. So, good job. French, a little bit of a hiccup in the early game, let's just call it that. But this was definitely a bit more favorable to them. Intercession on level 7. We're also getting the burnt flesh for Khaldor. We got Hammer on for ETC. Greymane on the waves. And he quickly moves through this too. And as this all plays out, we got the next attack coming in, this time against the Dark Wolf. Once again, the slide as they're trying to focus on Yasuo. And Yasuo's in trouble. That's the end. Khaldor is gone. Mana Addict not completed. No shield, no sustain. And that is the end of him. So he goes down, and that's the 3rd kill for the German team. Red team doing pretty okay here. As we have stacks coming together also for Orphea. Obviously, Khaldor's not the only one working on level 1 quest. We also have around Globe still ETC. That's one reason why it's a bit annoying whenever you're losing out on mercenary camps as well. That's obviously additional globes that you could technically try to pick up. And Spire buff triggered up at the top as D.Va is getting damage in on the fort. Then the Vikings getting attacked in the middle as the Germans are trying to slowly start to take them out. France is basically attempting to beat them with their own weapons, considering that it's usually Germany that is threatening Vikings and picks them on Towers of Doom. But the French were picking that away and trust in the Quasar to make the best out of that situation. And he's obviously played them before. I mean, it's not something where he just said, hey, we're going to try and pick it away from them. So, yeah, he is decent on the Vikings too. The Quasar just generally an amazing side laner. And the French moved in and stole the Pumpkin Camp away from Germany. So they're certainly getting more comfortable on the map and getting more momentum. Top right has already been channeled. Vikings are falling. Not only Eric, but also Balog gets eliminated. And with that, we're now getting the next attack in as they are trying to take down Olaf too. The Quasar is losing all 3 of them. And it's all about the channel at the top left. Germany wants another connect. And you know what? They might actually be able to do this. Yeah, the channel is coming through. And even Khaldor couldn't interrupt it. So Germany is taking both. Very rarely does that happen. I'm always harping about how I hate these horizontal altar spawns. Because it's essentially just a trade between the 2 teams. With the Viking composition that gets played by the French team, this is one of the very few exceptions where we see a team trying to go for 2 and they make it happen. ETC gone, Khaldor's gone, Germany! Oh boy, 6 kills to 1. Just when you think that the French might make the comeback happen here, they are starting to fall behind again. Both now with level 10 abilities. But that is Vikings with play again, and we get the bullet. But the French certainly need to step it up. They absolutely need to step it up here. They had such a wild ride. If you are, honestly, if you're French, if you are a fan of the blue team, then this tournament was such a roller coaster. The French barely making it out of the round robin into the playoffs. I mean, it honestly looked for a long time like both French teams would be eliminated in the top 8. Like, none of them would make it into the playoffs. And then the team here was just barely making it in. And all of a sudden, they have this insane run through the winner bracket where they just take everyone out. And it seems like they're unstoppable. But now the Germans, after already being defeated by the French, are in a dominant lead in the series. And in game number 5, things are not looking too bad for the red team either. Again, the attack though, this time against Malfurion. It's a party. Gravity Lapse is missing and the mosh pit got interrupted. Khaldor still on 10 stacks, by the way. It's going to take him some time to get his level 1 quest completed, and that's always bad news. He's on the squishy side. If he doesn't have the added shield, and also for his mana management, then this is not good. Even this globe he missed out on. Masquerade was able to pick him up with ETC, but Khaldor is still trailing, and very heavily. Ari gets hunted down and killed again. This time they're trying to go in on ETC. Big damage from Orphea. They're chasing the blue team back, and Malfurion is on the channel. Starting to... well, actually, in this case, he misses out on it, but Masquerade might have gone too deep. Gets pushed into the explosion. Doesn't even die to it. Gets moonfired by Malfurion first. And that's the main tank gone. They're going for Greymane. The shots are already fired. And we're seeing France drop down to 24 points on the core. It's getting difficult for them. The Vikings are currently doing the best they can to hold the experience on the lanes, but the blue team is falling farther behind. They are now trailing by nearly half a level, not quite. Level 13 talents are in a bit sooner for the German team. And of course, Tracer is just chasing down the Vikings over and over and over again. Dino is hunting them the entire game already. He's hunting Vikings wherever he can find them. One of the reasons, of course, why we saw in the draft Zeratul banned out by the French team was that they wanted the Vikings. And then you could see the reaction after they go for the Viking first pick. Germany immediately picking Tracer. And that's the reason why. She's hunting them down, one after another. And this is really dynamic that was played out in the draft. Because as I already explained there, the French were basically saying, you have to ban the Vikings. We're not going to do it. If you don't ban them, we will take them. Germany knew that. There was no way that you're familiar with any one of these teams and you'd see that ban pattern in game number 5, this map, and you do not know that it's all about the Vikings. All about who bans them or who picks them. And Germany just said, we don't care. We're going to ban Jojo against you, and you can pick the Vikings. We're going to counter you with Tracer Malfurion in our first pick rotation, and then Dino is going to run you into the ground. He's going to hunt the Vikings down all day long, all day, every day, and you are not going to get any value out of that. And that's exactly what's happening here. Germany was totally okay with the French going for that pick. And now, topside bell tower is eliminated. 9 kills to 1. Bell tower at the top has been taken. Dequaza does his best to get value out of the Vikings, as we now have the vertical altar spawn between the teams. But here comes the interrupt. Time and time again. Ice Wall is in. E.T. See ya! Gets the mosh pit out. Gets murdered. Diva is dropped. The pilot is still alive, but Banana H is on the run, running for his life, waving the French flag at the white flag. Same thing. Gets lasered, and that is kill number 11. They're losing Greymane too. It's a triple baby, and it is not looking good for France. To be fair, at least they were able to get one of the altars, so that's a few shots fired. But down at the bottom of the map, this one is still going to be channeled. I think the discussion was more so whether they want to go for the bell tower first or not. But right now we have 12 kills to 1 and a 1.5 level lead. So this is just a brutal advantage for Germany, as Tracer is already nibbling on the hit points in the middle of the map. And as you can see, this one is down to 50%. 6 shots fired. They waited. They waited with the bell tower. So right there, there's the hit. And this one already hurts. That's putting them down to 18. But they want the barrage. They're going for it. This could be a quickie. Germany today just on a different level. They're going to defend the bell tower at the top. The barrage has now started. Germany is trying to move in here. Ice wall being used. The blue team needs to take it back, and they do. But here comes Diva. They can't quite stop them. A few shots were still fired, but that's 16 points now on the French core. And the boss gets attacked immediately as the next play for Germany. They have a 1 level advantage, 29 stacks, 29 shots, points against 16. And now another 4 are going to be fired as Greymane is in position to retake the bell tower in the middle. The French have to pull off an amazing comeback to make this work. They need to go for an incredible comeback in order to have a shot here. And I mean, again, they clawed at least 2 bell towers back. They're going for the 3rd now, so it's going to get equalized again. And we have seen crazier comebacks than this. Let's be honest about that for just a second. We've seen in these playoffs comebacks where a team had essentially a point on the core and was going up against an opponent with 30. So it's possible. This is the map to do it on. Late game control is everything. And you look at experience, the gap isn't that big. Look at the experience distribution for just a second. Germany is ahead by 7,000 experience points on the hero XP. Mercenary XP, they're ahead by 1,000. And then we're seeing the minion experience, and this is actually where the French are having a slight advantage. Now, are they still behind in experience? Of course they are. But it's not as bad as you might think. I mean, they're trailing by half a level right now. So we've seen a lot worse. And here come the channels now. It's a triple altar on the map. The French need to take a lot. They already took control at the bottom of the map. It's 3 shots fired against 5 since Germany retook the top lane. But there's still a shot. Single digits on the core for the French. And Germany is trying to channel here. They would get 5 more shots. Olaf down. Attack in the middle. Attack at the top. Interrupts happening. 12 kills to 1. Mosh pit being used. They try to get the kill right there against the Dark Wolf, and they get it. May is gone. May is gone. Germany's down to 4 now. Germany on the way back out, trying to retreat here. D.Va bringing in some cover, but getting quickly attacked too. And Malfurion with a Twilight Dream as ETC was moving in. But now the Vikings with the channel, and it's another 3 shots fired. They need to take these bell towers back. They need to get momentum. It's 7 points against 23 right now. All about them trying to bring the game back here. Half a level. Ooh, the tactical pause. 3-2-3 moment from the French. Yep, Khaldor's disconnecting. That is not the game where you want one of your players to disconnect. Let's hope that he's going to come back quickly, because this is just getting interesting. The French still have a chance here, but they really need to step it up and throw everything against the Germans to bring this back. Back to business. Yasuo made it. Now, the French were joking around a little bit and saying that he might not actually come back at all. We were already speculating that he fully rage quit. He surrendered. He pulled a Frenchie. But no, but they are still back in the game, and they are trying to be aggressive at the bot lane now. Team France hoping to make that comeback work as they are coming in for that bell tower. Trying to take the 4-4 equilibrium back in as the top lane has fallen. Bot lane more important, obviously. And again, ooh, the ice wall. Can they capitalize on this? And sure they can. ETC is gone again, and now the chase is on. Yasuo gets targeted. Banana Age is low, and in comes Ultralisk with the ultra damage and the ultra kill. White main is obliterated, and now the rest of the blue team is on the run. Allez le bleu indeed, but they are going all allez into the wrong direction. Level 20 is ready, and we got the Astral Communion now, as Germany is looking at an opportunity to end the game. 7 points remaining on the French core. We're having bell tower after bell tower now getting attacked. The altar at the bottom of the map. Pumpkins getting targeted at the top lane. Boss not up anytime soon. 1 minute and 35 seconds until we have it back. And the Vikings are at least trying to retake the bell tower at the top lane together with Yasuo. But at the bot lane, of course, another one has been claimed. And now the pumpkin camps get both attacked. So with level 20 on both sides, we're going to get white main back in a moment, but they have to defend a lot here. That altar channel is inevitable, so Ultralisk is now firing another 5 shots against Team France, and that puts them down to 2 points on the core. They're with their back to the wall. Germany is about to crown themselves the champions of the Nations Cup in 2026. Camp taken. Very important play by the French now. That means only one pumpkin camp traveling through the bot lane. They're trying to retake a little bit of control here. They want the kill. D.Va attacked. Careful. ETC at the front. Again targeted, as we also have Tracer coming in. And the Vikings could also engage, of course. They have the tools here. In come the pumpkins. Eric gone. They need to take them out. They need to take those pumpkins out. And they do. Not a single one connects. All of them eliminated. Banana Edge is a little bit low, but they're still able to get the heals in. Vikings with the ult back up at the top lane and trying to get some counter pressure going as Germany fails to end the game here. Nice defense by the French. The Baguettes are making it work as Team Lederhosen is trying again to maintain control of that bottom left bell tower. Vikings are pushing. Boss is soon going to be up. Quasar's pressuring, of course, proccing that Inspire buff on the minions continuously to try and take some of those structures out. But Tracer is on Viking duty and eliminates Balog easily. 15 kills to 3. 71,000 damage for Tracer. The boss is back up, by the way. It's another tool for the German team. The French, they want their bell tower back. And they get it. It's another 4 versus 4 situation on the map now with one altar spawning in 14 seconds. And the French have to throw in everything here. This is the opportunity right now to slowly make that comeback happen. Both on level 20 talents. Even talents and the Vikings are in too. You can get the large and charge proc. You can get those stuns. They go for D.Va time and time again in an attempt to shut her down. May also target at the front. Khaldor with a flamethrower. Now a lot bigger range for him. Makes a whole lot of sense for him, of course. He's going to be the interrupter. One of the big ones for the team. And they're already starting to zone the Germans out here as D.Va re-engages again. Astral Communion is up. Tracer looking for targets. Here comes the flank. They want to go for Khaldor. Khaldor is still alive. The double connect with the ice wall, and they're attempting to follow up on it. ETC is a little bit low. Malfurion helping them out as best as he can. But Quasar is still alive with the rest of the team, losing only one of his Vikings here as they are all playing this one out. Again, the ult use from the Vikings, getting all of them back here, ready for the next stun. Germany trying to get into a good position, and slowly but steadily, everybody just centering around the channel as the French are even making a play for their pumpkins, trying to get more done with this as Quasar with Eric is getting continuous interrupts in against Tracer. Pumpkins are taken. Pressure at the bottom of the map. D.Va targeted. Moving in deep. Once again, here comes the explosion. Masquerade has to jump out. The Astral Communion kidding a little bit too late. They want Banana H. They want him. And they cannot get him. Finally, he falls. Where's that counter kill when you needed the mosh pit from ETC? And he dies. Ultralis gets also murdered. The counter kill. Is it going to be enough? The channel has happened through the Vikings. They held the altar. They're holding on. The French hold on, but they're losing Khaldor as well. Khaldor is gone. The Vikings are dying. Only Greymane survives and Eric. And now the move towards the boss. Germany has the opportunity right there to go towards the top, take the boss out. They go for Tobos and they kill Greymane. The big bad wolf is eliminated. The French about to surrender as Germany is moving on to victory. It is their best map. They get revenge. They move through the losers bracket after being eliminated in the winner bracket by the French team. And now they crown themselves once again the champions. Nation Cup champions 2026. Germany is able to pull it off once again. They take the best of 7 grand final with a 4-1 score against the French. Nicely done. GG, well played, and congratulations to the champions. Congratulations to Germany.